You're listening to the Future of Convenience podcast, brought to you by Global Convenience Store Focus, featuring senior retail executives and experts in the global convenience, fuels, and mobility retail industry. Hosted by Dan Munford, Nick Scherzer, and Carolyn Schnare. Hello, and welcome to the Future of Convenience podcast. I'm Carolyn Schnare, and I'm joined by my co-host, Frank Gleeson. Hey, Frank.
Hey, Carolyn.
So good to see ya. So as many of our loyal listeners know, we just finished up what I think is probably one of the most impactful, most popular competitions we've ever run, which is the best Foodvenience store in the world. And over the next few episodes, we're going to talk with the winners, the top three of those store winners. And I just wanted to reference, we did announce this back on November 7th. So we have a whole special episode devoted to how we did it, the whole competition, everything about that. Plus, we have it on LinkedIn. So go ahead and take a listen to that, because what I want to do is just dive right in and talk to our guest today, who is Blackie Wills, the president and CEO of the Wills Group, who operates our third place winner, Dash-In Chantilly. Congratulations and welcome, Blackie.
Thank you, Carolyn. Thrilled to be with you and Frank.
Well, I'm happy to see you again. You're my hometown-ish store here in Virginia in the USA. So thanks again for joining us and congratulations.
Yeah, we were thrilled to be recognized in the top three. We had a town hall meeting last week, and as part of that town hall meeting, we played Frank's commentary, which was we were very excited to hear that, and very flattering, Frank. So we appreciate that.
Well, I'd have to jump in and say congratulations from me as well. Making that top three was a huge achievement given the competition from all over the world and the quality and standards of what we saw. But I do want to say I actually got there in person. So myself and Carolyn went up. We had a terrific visit there, met with Mauricio, Farouk, and the whole team. And we're really blown away. I mean, I genuinely am rarely as surprised as I was on the day I visited your store. It was such a pleasure to see the depth, quality, and, you know, the professionalism of the team. And I really want to give you guys huge credit for that. But let's rewind back. Tell me a little bit about the Willis Group, you know, where you guys started, you know, a little bit about the company would be a great start.
Yeah, thank you, Frank. We're a fourth-generation family business, headquartered in La Plata, Maryland, about 30 miles south of Washington, D.C. We've got 60 Dash-In convenience stores today. We also operate about 60 splash and car wash locations, and we have another 220 major oil-branded retail outlets, predominantly Shell locations, some Exxon, some other brands. With Dash-In, we were really excited about our third generation prototype that we feature here at Chantilly. It was the first of our new third generation prototype store, we spent several years developing the concept. Really was an entirely new menu, entirely new architecture, and frankly, we kind of debuted some new guest service concepts with that Chantilly store as well. So it was quite a bit of firsts for us, for Dash-In, with that store. And I think, you know, the combination, obviously, of the industry recognition with the best Foodvenience store in the world, a competition, as well as the local customer feedback, I think it's kind of proof that we're on the right path.
Blackie, I want to ask you one question about that, because you started down the guest services route. And when I get to your stores, that store, the first someone comes right in and immediately greets me, introduces themselves. And I thought, like, oh, I didn't even know they knew I was coming, like as if I'm some very important person. But a lot of times I'll be like, you know, Frank and I gave you a heads up we were coming. But it's not just me, is it? It's everybody.
No, Carolyn, it is. Yeah. And the one thing that's kind of a new concept with that Chantilly store is our concierge concept. So we have dedicated store staff that their sole focus is to welcome a guest into the store, help that guest find the product that they're looking for, and frankly offer suggestions. Maybe if it's a guest first time there, talk about a lot of our featured items, our fresh food offering, some unique kind of fresh beverage options that we have at that location. So it's really the intention to get the guest acclimated with everything we have to offer at that Dash-In location.
That's so cool. And you do that at ideally every one of these new concept stores?
All of these new concept stores, okay. Correct, have a concierge, yeah. And that store, Esme is kind of our concierge, if you will.
She's wonderful.
But she is, and it's very interesting when you look at online reviews. I'd say 90% of them reference Esme. And so I think it's proof that it works. And we were really going for an elevated overall experience. We think that there's unfortunately not a real high bar in the segment. And so we thought it was a way to kind of differentiate was to provide a more elevated guest experience. And it seems to be working based on what we've seen thus far.
I agree. Let's chat about the food offer, if you don't mind, Blackie. I mean, you guys have worked with some franchises in the past during your previous iterations, maybe in other stores or Series 1 or Series 2. But what I think you've done here is you've taken what I would consider the best of the best and some signature items and made them yours. So just tell me a bit about how did you do that, with the culinary team and the ops team.
Yeah, Frank. We wanted to have a menu that was kind of friendly and familiar. So you think of like, convenience store staples, things like, potato chips or donuts, but we wanted to do an elevated and kind of fresh twist on that. So we have our house-made chips where we're bringing in sliced potatoes and frying them on site and then mixing with one of our 4 different flavors. We're also making donuts in-house. It's a cake donut. Again, that's we then use different flavors. So it's a way to take something that a convenience store consumer would be familiar with, but do an elevated version of it. Another thing from a menu perspective, we decided was we were going to bring in fresh raw proteins and feature that as part of it. So we wanted to have kind of wholesome, fresh ingredients as part of our menu. So, for instance, with our griddle press burgers, we're bringing in fresh Angus ground beef, and then we're throwing that on the flat top, using the griddle press to then get a smash burger. So, and we do that not only with burgers but with our line of quesadillas, and other sandwiches. Like our cheesesteak uses a fresh shaped ribeye as an example. So that's our commitment to the guest is to have high quality, fresh, wholesome ingredients. And the other thing we've done with we do have a grab and go menu in addition to our made to order menu. Everything on the grab and go menu is made on site and everything is made fresh daily. So if you come in as a guest, you can be assured that that product was made that day. And we have a made today, gone today commitment for our guests.
Yeah, no, we tasted a lot of the products when we were there, Blackie, and they were tremendous. I have to say, in terms of the signature items, whether it was a chicken sandwich, whether it was a burger, and my favorite, actually, I ate French fries. It was as good as I've seen in food service anywhere. And I just don't work in gas stations. I work across hospitality in many places. So hats off to you and the team. What an outstanding job of the food quality side of things and the innovation.
We wanted it to be food forward, Frank. I mean, we were really trying to set a new benchmark for Dashin. Our view is that over the longer term, the industry has obviously been somewhat commoditized in terms of the product assortment, but we really are trying to become a restaurant within a convenience store. And so I'm glad you had that experience.
Yeah, and there was a couple of things I liked that I hadn't seen in too many places. So you had this robot smoothie machine, which we just thought was awesome, right?
That was good.
It was really good. And then I liked the fountain program, which again, you were using some local fountain products that, you could see some of the customers coming in and they were absolutely getting something they were not expecting, which I thought was tremendous.
Yeah, we have that self-service tap wall for our guests. That was something that was very unique to us. I think we found out that we were only like the second or third company in the United States to feature a tap wall for non-alcoholic beverage. So we've got some craft sodas there, some organic sodas. Work with Tractor on those, and there's a cucumber soda, which is actually exceptional. I don't know if
We
you
tried that.
try that.
I did try that too.
Yeah.
So, Blackie, a couple of the other things I noticed then. So, listen, the operational efficiency, right? When I looked in the back of house, just the way you've set it up with your communication board, the flow in terms of the operational flow, and just the way you've approached it, looks like you've taken some lean thinking or some efficiency thinking and put it in a very, very compact area to make it efficient and good use of time and labor.
Yeah, we have, Frank. I think one of the learnings from the new store was that we frankly needed to accommodate more back of house space for prep. We do run it like a commercial kitchen. We've got line cooks, we've got prep cooks, and then from a guest standpoint, obviously there's the touchscreen ordering kiosks. We also provide mobile ordering, third party delivery, so customers can either place orders directly through our mobile app which gets sent to our kitchen production system, or they can come in store and use the touchscreen ordering kiosks. So we like that it's created some efficiencies there, and we're now exploring with some different hot hold technologies to figure out how do we take the same great product we have, but streamline the production time to get a little bit faster. We want to try to produce in every item on the menu in about 5 minutes or less. We're not quite there. We're getting close. That's our
Yeah, I
goal.
mean, that's what new sites are about, Blackie. It's about innovating and then figuring out what are the things you need to improve on or make scalable. And I kind of that leads me to my next question that, you guys have some growth plans, ambitious growth plans, I presume, for Dashin.
Correct. Yeah, our intent is to build 20 to 25 new sites per year. We've gone through quite a bit of redevelopment of the existing network in recent years. We've done a tremendous amount of either major remodels or raise and rebuild projects to kind of get the network more or less standardized. Obviously, we do have the differences between the second generation prototype and the third generation prototype. The good news is we've cycled through just about all of the remodels to this point, and we're at the tail end of the redevelopment process. So it's really focused now on new stores. We are pushing south. We're currently based in the Mid Atlantic, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia. We're heading to the Carolinas, and we hope to open our first store in North Carolina next year, and probably our first store in South Carolina the following year. So pretty ambitious growth plans for a store of only 60. Network of 60 sites today to get to 20, 25 new builds a year.
Yeah, but I think it makes sense, though. I mean, it's like anything, the greater scale you get, the more efficiencies you get, Blackie, and, you can spread that overhead cost. But, I think you've got a great product offering and it looks like the consumers like it. So I just wish I had one near me, to be honest.
We're going to stay stateside, at least in the near term, but you never know. You never know what could happen long term.
That's fantastic. Well, this one's close enough to me that it's kind of hometown. So I certainly have to go out there. I've got some relatives coming in and certainly want to bring them out there and show them what a great convenience store is like.
And we've got new stores coming to your backyard, Carolyn. We've got a couple new stores in the pipeline in Loudoun County, so we want to continue to grow
Ooh.
there. We really like that market, and we're going to be expanding to some of those neighboring counties too, like Prince William, Fairfax, down through Fredericksburg,
Oh,
Richmond, Virginia. So yeah, we've got extensive growth plans on that I-95 corridor in Virginia.
nice.
So, Blackie, just kind of taking the topic of Foodvenience, are you in the same place as me that convenience and food service are now one product offering for the consumers, just about giving them what they want, when they want it, and how they want it?
100%. Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned earlier we kind of take the view that we want to be a restaurant inside a convenience store, and we want to meet different need states. I mean, the customers that they can use our indoor dining room or our little outdoor patio, and that want to stay on site maybe and have lunch or breakfast. Um, you know, those folks that can linger and have the time to do that, or those folks that kind of quick in and out. Let me get my grab and go food and be on my way and be able to maybe eat in the car on the way to their next destination. So we absolutely want to meet all those different consumer need states in the industry, and I think convenience is continuing to play an elevated role. I think in the mind of consumers relative to food service, it's kind of blurred lines anymore.
I agree. And I think, particularly when I look at the markets you're in, right, you've got some big, what I would consider really evolved convenience operators, your Quick Trips, your Sheets, your Wawas. My own personal view is I think you've elevated a little bit further. You've gone further than them in terms of your latest Series 3 store. So it's going to be a very interesting marketplace in, East Coast, Mid America, as you guys grow and battle it out among all the states that are up for grabs. And there's quite a journey for the other states to go on because not everywhere is like your state. I could tell you that. A bit like my own country. We're an outpost in Europe, but it's highly developed here. I see it really high developed in your market between Pennsylvania and Washington and Virginia.
Yeah, and we've got some big players in our market, the likes of Wawa, Sheets, Rural Farms. It's always been a very competitive market. Obviously, Quick Trip too, as you get into to North Carolina. So we like that. Frankly, we
Yeah.
think it's forced us to raise our game. There was for many years where we felt like we didn't have an offering that was maybe up to par. So our intent with the Series 3 stores was really to try to leapfrog the competition and come up with something that's more elevated.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And it's one of the things I've observed from the competition that, there's really been a significant elevation of the quality and the operational standards in our industry. And particularly when you look around some of the finalists, whether it's the Apple Greens of this world or whether it's, Lion Place down in Argentina, the best guys are driving their business on. And, to coin a Sheets phrase, they're thinking about putting the business of now out of business in tomorrow. So that kind of ambition has to be in the business. It has to be there if you want to survive. And I think the markets will thrive when competition do that. And your market's a great example of that. I think the consumers are buying into it completely. I wouldn't want to open a quick serve or have a quick serve restaurant near you, to be honest, because I'd only have one product offering, whereas you seem to be covering, whether it's a Taco Bell or whether it's a Chick-fil-A or whether it's a burger concept, you've got multiple in one box, which makes it very difficult to compete against.
Yeah, we think we've got a lot of good variety there in this new offering, Frank. So yeah, and like I said, the guests, I think it's resonating. Everything we see, I mean, tremendous amount of reviews. We take pride that we've got 4.9 Google star ratings at all of our new Series 3 stores. So I wish we would be up at 5, but we're not quite there. Gives us more to aspire to. So proof it's definitely resonating with consumers. And I think over time, as we continue to grow, we're just going to see that brand awareness continue to increase.
Oh, you'll get there. I know you will. And I think one of the things that I noticed right away when I was visiting for the very first time was just your connection to the community. And I had the benefit of knowing some of the things that you guys do on a corporate level and stores throughout Maryland and in Virginia now too, with food banks, with different nonprofits and then community schools. And I saw there was a board for community activities. And then even beyond that, just it's so friendly to families and everything else. I mean, like this store has a sink that like is on the outside, like not in the bathrooms, right? Like literally next to the kitchen where like, it's like, hey kid, wash your hands after you came from soccer practice before I take the rest of your team out to go sit outside and have ice cream or snacks or something. So I think that your connection to the community is really important and it's going to continue to grow. So do you have any thoughts or plans to even further that more?
100%, Carolyn. I mean, when we opened that Chantilly store, we had a series of events that were about community engagement. We've long thought that, the concept of you take care of your community is they're in turn going to take care of you. And so at grand opening events, we will always feature a local school, local volunteer fire department. We will always present charitable contributions to local food banks, food pantries. And we've got 3 signature programs on our community engagement platform. One is nourishing children and families. So we do quite a bit there, through food distribution, battling food insecurity. We also have a program, reimagining outdoor spaces, revitalization of parks and playgrounds. And then the third signature program, which we just launched, is advancing waterways and watersheds. And we think that there's a nice connection there with our car wash business and thinking about water restoration and cleaning up, communities. So we kicked off a Project Clean Stream event in Maryland not too long ago. And so really excited to continue to grow those community roots.
That's fantastic. I love to hear that.
Kind of a final comment from me, if you don't mind, Carolyn.
Yeah.
And I'm reminded of a Kevin Costner film called Field of Dreams. And the big tagline, as you all know, on that one is, if you build it, they will come. And I have no doubt your customers are going to come to your stores, Blackie. I'm convinced about it.
Frank, we've seen that reaffirmed. We've since opened up of these Series 3 stores. We've opened up 3 additional stores recently this year, and with a 4th that's about to open. And totally agree with you. We taken that position, build the right offering in time. You're going to have the customers. They're going to show up. And we're really excited about what we think is going to be a halo effect as we start to build more of these stores.
That's awesome. And anytime you reference Kevin Costner in something, you're like bound to just get 5-star reviews for the own show. So, we'll build an algorithm that we only accept 5 stars. And Blackie, I'll share the program with you so that you'll get to that 5 at all those stores without even having to try. This has been fantastic. I always enjoy talking with you, seeing you. And listeners, you can check out Dash In at Global Convenience Store Focus. You can see their full entry along with the video and any photos of their store. And I also did an interview with Blackie maybe a year ago or so. And I'll put all these links in the store note or show notes. So go ahead and take a look at that. So with that, congratulations again, Blackie. I look forward to coming back to visit some more and just checking out some of that great food. Those donuts were amazing. And thanks for being on the show. And also thank you to all who participated, especially the program sponsors, Invenco by GVR, the Mosley Group, the Coca-Cola Company, and Frank. Also, thanks for being here with me.
Take care.
Yeah, Carolyn, Frank, thank you so much. Again, we're just honored to be in the top 3 for the Foodvenience store, best Foodvenience store in the world. And can't thank you enough, Carolyn, for the opportunity. Great to see you as always.
Fantastic. Well, thanks again for coming, and thank you for listening to The Future of Convenience. You've been listening to the Future of Convenience podcast, produced by Dan Munford, Nick Scherzer, Jenna Ferguson, and Lorraine Evans. It is produced, edited, and mixed by Carolyn Schnare, and music is provided by Jukebox Music. Tune in every other Friday for new episodes, and please subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Learn more at globalconveniencestorefocus.co.uk.